Call to the booth. Aqib Talib here along with Harrison Sanford. We talking NFC North today. Aaron Rodgers gonna be there. What Justin Fields is he gonna start? Man, a lot of quarterback controversy in that North, man. Let's get to it. Paul, drop that beat.
We're back with more Call to the Booth. Aqib Talib, Harrison Sanford. 2021 season should be a lot of fun in the NFL. Stadiums are going to be packed again, one would assume, as we're seeing stadiums packed for the NBA playoffs. Which brings me to a point here, Aqib. We're seeing recently some players in the NBA are getting ruled out for health and safety protocols, presumably because they're contracting the COVID-19. And regular season games, it hurts to lose them in the NBA. Obviously, it hurts a lot more in the NFL, but even more in the playoffs. But the vaccine is readily available now to almost anybody in the country. I'm wondering if you're having conversations with guys in the NFL, because it's going to become, nobody wants to force you to make that decision.
Right.
But it's going to come at the expense of team success as we go further here, of guys can't play games if they don't get vaccinated. It's going to be a very interesting decision that a lot of players are having to make. I wonder if you talk to any guys about it.
Well, I not really of, like, did everybody on the team get it kind of conversations, but I talk to guys that's, talking about if they got it, I got it. You know what I'm saying? I got mine, but it might have made me ask if they got theirs, right? But I talked to a couple guys, they got their vaccine. So, man, I don't know. They get on board, man. I think that vaccine you're going to need it for a lot of stuff, right? So eventually kids going to need it to go to school. So if my kid's going to have to take it, shit, I'm going to take it first. You know what I'm saying? So I got mine, man. We'll see how I go in the league. But it's going to get more important and more important.
For sure. And I don't know. I don't know if you've been in locker rooms before that have been divided by politics like this before. I mean, this is a once-in-a-lifetime type of event. I wonder if that creates some dissension. Because, if you have a guy who gets suspended and he can't play for week 7, 8, or a playoff game because he did something detrimental to the team, guys are not going to be happy with him. But this is almost like a different category because it's a personal choice.
Right.
It's also going to feel like a mandated choice. It's a very difficult thing to maneuver. As somebody who's been the team captain, I can only imagine the weight that you would have felt trying to maneuver through all of this.
Yeah, I think it is, but I think the one thing about football, man, in that locker room, it's hard to divide that locker room, man, especially on like political stuff or like vaccines. It's gonna be hard. If a guy get in trouble, it ain't more like, man, damn, you got in trouble, bro, you let us down. It's more like, man, hey, you straight? We trying to come around him and make sure he good. Tell him, man, we ain't worried about it, man. Everybody fuck up. The locker room more like that. So I don't think half the locker room be like, man, y'all ain't get the damn vaccines, and now we got people missing games. I don't think it'll really go like that, just because it better be wins and losses that's going to divide the locker room. If the offense playing shitty and the defense playing good, that divide the locker room. But personal stuff, man, I think we do a good job vibing and bonding over that kind of stuff.
Well, there could be some locker room controversies all throughout the NFC North. We'll start with the top dogs, the Green Bay Packers.
Yes,
Aaron Rodgers. We don't know what's going to happen. I think we all would pick them as the favorite to come out the NFC North, even if there's beef, as long as Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback.
Yeah.
But can you predict what would happen if it was not that way?
Well, if A-Rod wasn't there and Jordan Love was there, I mean, it kind of matter how he come out, man. Matter what he looked like. But I definitely change my division winner if A-Rod wasn't there. But he'll be there, man. It's majority owners there, man. It's up to the city. They not letting A-Rod go nowhere, man. So it's good. A-Rod will be there. They'll win 13 games again or something like that, man. A-Rod will be there. And A-Rod was mad last offseason, so you kind of want a mad A-Rod coming into this thing, man. He gonna go off again.
So let me go ahead and pull up here the over-unders that we have marked here for their season. It looks like over-under for the Packers is 10.5. I assume that means you're going over?
I'm going over, man. I like them to be 13, 14 with a angry A-Rod dicing everything up.
So who would you consider as their biggest contender? You have the Minnesota Vikings, who had a down year last year, but have a stud at running back in Dalvin Cook, have two stud wide receivers. By that Mike Zimmer defense, I don't know what happened
It
to it
struggled
last year, but
last
it
year.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was your evaluation of what happened last year? And do you think they
I
fixed
don't
it
know.
in the offseason?
They ain't make too many changes in the offseason, man. I think a couple guys up front, you add Pat Pete to the secondary. You always get better if you add Pat Pete to your secondary. But I don't think they did too much to change it. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot similar to what it was last year. But I don't know, man. Like, I'm a big believer in this a quarterback-driven league, and quarterbacks got skills to either win or lose. So, man, once again, we got Cousins in the driver's seat, and that's what make me not really believe in the Vikings, man. I think they're just gonna be middle of the pack. He's middle of the pack quarterback, in my opinion. So that's gonna put them back middle of the pack, man. I think the contender, if anybody was to contend in that division, I think it might be the Bears. If Justin Fields come out and pick up the speed of this game fast, I think with Mooney, they second receiver, as Jalen Ramsey called him, that Mooney. And their number one receiver, Allen Robinson, man, I think they got some cool O-line, man. Solid O-line. I think they got a little something, man. If Justin Fields could really pick up the speed of this game and he get in there early enough, if they ride with Dalton and they end up 1-4, then they try to put Justin in, then they not gonna compete. But if he looking good early and they get Justin in there early, and he get the speed of this game down, man, I think the Bears and that defense might be able to do something. They lose Fuller. On that corner, man, but I think they still got a solid line, solid linebackers, solid safety. So right down the middle of that defense, they solid. So good defense, good quarterback, running quarterback, man. If somebody gonna catch fire, I think it might be the Bears.
If you're Ryan Pace, the general manager for the Chicago Bears, or Matt Nagy, the head coach for the Chicago Bears, I'm gonna go through their schedule, and I want you to tell me when you would almost insist that Justin Fields potentially gets his first start. And Paul, I wonder if there's actually, at some point, I feel like Vegas might have a bet on this. All right, week 1. So just tell me yes or no if he's starting this game. Sunday, September 12th at Los Angeles Rams.
Yes.
Justin Fields starting
right away. Start him right away.
That's what you would do.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna see him in OTAs, and if he looked like he looked on QB1 on Netflix in Ohio State, then he prime. He ready to go, man. I got a vet here. He gonna be a nice vet backup. Andy ain't gonna create no trouble over there. He gonna do his thing. If Justin asks him a question, he gonna answer it. I got a guy who can handle that, right? He's gonna cause no disturbance. So, man, if he ready to go, man, if he can handle the playbook and he can handle the speed of the game, he making throws, I'm putting him in there right now. I'm letting him go to work, man. He's a mature guy. And, hey, if we going to do it, we draft him for a reason. So I'll put him in there immediately.
So if I remember when we were doing our draft preview shows, you're a big fan of Justin Fields, right?
Definitely.
So, I mean, Aqib, just like, we just going to throw him to the dogs? Like Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey?
That ain't really throwing him to the dogs to me. It's hey, man, you came here to play ball, right? So I'm thinking we got to put him in and play ball. Some guys get it, they pick up the game slower, right? Sometimes some guys you could tell immediately once you get in OTAs, you'll be able to see how he regurgitate that playbook. You'll be able to see how he pick up the speed of the game, right? So after OTAs, I should know oh yeah, he's gonna be ready to go, or he's not gonna be ready to go. And I think Justin Fields gonna be ready to go, man. He been playing big time football his whole career. You playing the Big Ten. Right. You playing the Big Ten, man. You got something. If you playing in college football playoffs and winning games, that's the speed. That's almost that NFL caliber speed. You can handle that shit, man. You can handle NFL. I think he'll be ready to go.
Primetime Sunday Night Football. The odds on him starting week 1 are 2-1.
2-1. I'm gonna go with him, man. I mean, we know what Andy Dalton got. We know what we getting with Andy Dalton, man. You see what Allen Robinson tweeted when they signed Andy Dalton, man. So we know what's going on right there. So, man, I want my team I want the camaraderie to be up. I want the excitement about the season, the confidence. I want all that up. If Andy Dalton starting week 1, that shit not up. If Justin Fields starting week 1, we don't know if he could play or not. But the anticipation of it, the confidence of the team, that shit gonna be up. Khalil Mack and Danny Trey, them boys gonna be ready to go if Justin Fields in there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a crank my team up by starting that boy.
So if Justin Fields starts, let's say Aaron Rodgers is in the North, is back with the pack. Do they contend for the playoffs? Do they mess around with the pack for the division at all?
Nah. They go 8-9, and it's a good rookie year for them. You know what I'm saying? It's solid. It's similar to our record last year. We ain't really fall off, but you know what I'm saying? We showed signs. We go 8-9, but the North, they send one team, man. They send the Packers only.
All right. But before we get out of here, looking at this division, so we like the pack. You like the Packers. Unsure about the Vikings. We don't know what they can do defensively. You're not sure about Kirk Cousins. You want Justin Fields starting right away for the Chicago Bears. Just a quick little bit on the Detroit Lions, which is where you started your in the booth career, if I remember correctly. Give me one reason for optimism outside of Jared Goff taking the quarterback helm, if that is even a sign of optimism for you.
I would go the Lions. What make you think that they got a chance to
just a respectable season.
Maybe,
just a respectable season.
You know what I'm saying? And I say that because they O-line, man. They O-line. If you got Decker and you got Panay as your tackles, you probably got the best pair of tackles in the NFL, honestly. You know what I'm saying? We ain't seen Panay yet, but if he pan out to be what everybody think he pan out to be, Decker is a fool at left tackle, and Panay probably gonna go to right tackle because of that, right? I think you got the best pair of tackles in the league, man. So if you got the best pair of tackles in the league, that's a great starting point. You know what I'm saying? So if anything was to make me think the Lions might have a chance, it's that O-line, man. It's them pair of tackles that they got.
DeAndre Swift, when healthy last year, was one of the more productive fantasy football backs when he was able to get on the field. So that's another encouraging sign as well. They hired Dan Campbell as the head coach, coming over from the New Orleans Saints. He was the tight end coach there. Real quickly, do you have any? Do you care what position group your head coach comes from?
Nah. I think head coaches, you just got to be a great leader. So, I mean, you could be a great leader on the O-line. You could be a great leader at tight end like Dan Campbell. So, I mean, I think you got to be a great communicator and a great leader, and that makes for a great head coach, man. So, as long as he could do them, man, no matter what position you played.
Okay, and finally, just because we did the last episode, best 4 stadiums in the NFC North.
In the North, let me see. Lambeau, number one, man. That's a crazy atmosphere up in Lambeau, man.
Is there anything that sticks out about it to you? Whether it's just can you describe it?
You can just feel. You can feel the intensity of the fans. It's like some stadiums you go to and you can just feel the intensity of the fans. Like they really, really love this shit. Like you go to Lambeau, you can feel like y'all are the owners. Y'all care about this shit. You could feel the energy in the crowd, man. Just the camaraderie, the cheese heads, they got dance celebrations. We Lambeau leap. This all of it's just history in that stadium, man, and you can feel it when you play in there, man. I played in there with the Bucks. I'm saying I followed Jennings, followed my dog Jennings around, man. He had like 1 catch, 4 yards, but we ain't talking about that. We followed Greg Jennings. Greg had 1 catch, 4 yards, but that's for another show. But that energy, I just remember the energy. We played a good game in that stadium too, man. We gave them some work, but I just remember that energy was in there. I was like, this shit crazy, but it was a regular season game, and we was the Bucks. It was nothing major, but it felt like a playoff atmosphere. So Green Bay definitely number one. Chicago had that tall, thick grass, man. They slow the surface down on you, and that's a crazy atmosphere too. You can just feel it in the air, man, on some of them stadiums. So I go Green Bay, Chicago. I don't know if I played in Detroit a couple times. Detroit, man, it's like so quiet. It's a weird atmosphere there, man. It's like you in that dome. It's like you underground or something, right? Man, it's crazy too. So I go Green Bay, Chicago, Minnesota. I don't think I played in their new stadium, and then the Lions, man. It's too quiet in that stadium for me.
All right, Paul, what you got for our betting lines?
Yeah, so we're assuming Rodgers is back. So they made the They made the NFC title game 2 years in a row. So their odds to win the NFC 8.5 to 1. Odds to win the Super Bowl 17 to 1. So I guess the basic question is, what is going to be different? How do they get over that hump to at least get to the Super Bowl? Do you believe they can?
They're not going to the Super Bowl this year, Paul. Don't bet that. Do not put your money on that, man. Green Bay, I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl this year. I think they're going to be productive. They're going to get to the playoffs again. But I don't know. It's just Tommy over there. I ain't betting against Tommy no more. So the Bucks going to the Super Bowl. But if it's not the Bucks, it's going to be one of these little hot surprise type, out the blue type teams, man. Somebody who caught fire. So don't put your money on them. Put your money on the Packers winning the North. That's your safest bet. Put your money on that.
Well, if you look at the Packers' schedule here, they have they're taking on the NFC West this year. It looks like, and they have the AFC North, which gives them the Ravens and the Browns. So even though they're in a light division, the Packers being in the NFC North, taking on that AFC North this year,
and
with
that
the Browns,
West.
and the West, not fun at all. Not fun at all. But speaking of that NFC West, we're gonna get to that in our next episode, especially with the NFC South, you said, coming on along strong with Tom Brady and then being Super Bowl favorites. We got to discuss it, so we'll be back with more Call to the Booth. Hit that subscribe button, like, rate, review, and we'll see you next time.